painful and stinging of a way to lose that you can, like, the ways that you can lose a football game in the most dramatic fashion possible, that's right near the top of the list, and it may be at the top of the list.
What did you say when that came across the TV screen, block punt, when you're watching it in real time?
Like, you're talking about the block field goal?
Block field goal.
Dude, I was speechless. I did not speak.
You were just quiet.
I did not speak. Literally did not speak. And you're making me think about it, probably 5 minutes went by before I was like, I can't believe that just happened. I was just stunned in silence. How about you?
I just said, wow, and shook my head. I'm like, wow, man. Like, we literally can't beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. Like, we found a way to lose this game that was right in front of us.
Yeah.
And then you had Patrick Mahomes running up and down, like you've said before, like he's won his 4th Super Bowl, because every game does matter and every game is hard in the NFL. So when you do have a chance to win, you got to feel good about it. And how they won was like, come on.
It was brutal.
Come on.
I mean, it was brutal. It was awful. It was awful. But I'll tell you this, man, and I do not, and never have, and likely never will, like, approach a day like today and be like, I'm going to pick how I feel. Like, I'm going to, like, manufacture emotions and spin something. Like, I get told I'm, like, negative very frequently. Like, oh, you're negative.
Zac Bye negative?
Oh, you're negative. It's like, well, I've been on the air, like, talking about the worst stretch of Broncos football in their NFL history. I'm not going to put lipstick on everything. Like, we can look for silver linings and all that. But I'm telling you, on a day like today, and I mentioned this before, and I'll just say it one more time, just for the sake of saying it. Maybe because I get to wait all day before we come in here and react. And maybe it'd be different if I was coming and doing the morning show, or, like, I'm sure it'd be different if I'm, like, hosting the post-game show right after it happened, right?
Oh, yeah, it's fresh. That fresh wound.
But what was for me, what was the biggest theme of this NFL season for the Denver Broncos?
Bo Nix.
It was Bo Nix. Phil, I believe with every ounce of me.
Believe.
I believe with every ounce of me that the Denver Broncos went into Arrowhead and the rookie playing his 10th game ever outplayed the Super Bowl MVP.
Woo.
I think Bo Nix outplayed Pat Mahomes yesterday. He outplayed him. I think he did. I really think he did. And I don't have to, and maybe it would, like, if we, like, were arguing in front of, like, a jury and it, like, went to, like, points, like, at the end of, like, a boxing fight, maybe I'd lose on points. But I don't know, man.
A rookie quarterback, first time playing Patrick Mahomes in Arrowhead. I think you have a winning argument that Bo Nix outplayed Patrick Mahomes. Now, I don't know if he outplayed Patrick Mahomes, but he did enough to win the game. I think for Patrick Mahomes is on another level. All right. And when you think of Patrick Mahomes, it's about doing some of the little things right. Patrick Mahomes did some of the little things right to set the Chiefs up for success at the end of the game.
Yeah.
But that's because Patrick Mahomes has been through the fire. My man has 3 Super Bowls. He's supposed to do it.
Of course.
Nobody expected Bo Nix to do what he did yesterday. Set Denver up for success. Set Denver up for a game-winning field goal. And that's why when I'm saying, hey, did Bo Nix lose us the game? No, he did not.
Heck no. Heck no.
Did Bo Nix win us the game? I think he did.
I think he did. So like, who had a better completion percentage? Bo Nix. Who threw for more yards per attempt? Bo Nix. Who threw for more touchdowns? Bo Nix. Who took less sacks? Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Who had a higher quarterback rating? Bo Nix. Who had the better QBR? Bo Nix. Who had more negative or turnover-worthy plays?
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
I believe, my eyes tell me that Bo Nix in his 10th football game just went into Arrowhead and outplayed Patrick Mahomes. Am I saying he's on Mahomes' level? No, I wouldn't say that, because that'd be ridiculous. I would never say that.
Yeah, I would have to slap you across the face right now.
And I would hope you would. I would hope you would.
You're not.
But yesterday, on Sunday, November 10th, I thought Bo Nix outplayed Pat Mahomes, and I know they lost, and it sucked, and it's going to be stuck in a lot of people's craw, and I know I'll remember that loss for probably the rest of my life that I have a working memory. But that dude, the number one theme for me of the Broncos season, he's got it. He's got it, man. And I,
The only thing I could say Bo Nix didn't do that Pat did And it wasn't that Pat scored any touchdowns, but he put his team in a situation to get 3 points in the third and fourth quarter, right? Bo didn't do that. And that's not all on Bo. All right, it comes down to game planning. It comes down to the receivers catching the ball. It comes down to the running backs getting the first down. It takes a village for you to be successful against a really good Chiefs team. But I think for someone like Pat, it's like, hey, I did what I had to do. It didn't look pretty, all right? I didn't go and throw for a bunch of yards, but I made a couple plays that Bo Nix didn't make, and that was the deciding factor. I was able to complete – I was 2 for 2 on fourth downs.
Okay.
That was the turn. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And look, Bo Nix did a great job. But like we're talking about like what Patrick Mahomes did better than Bo, and that's because Patrick Mahomes has been in the league and has seen everything possible that you could as a quarterback.
Yeah.
And he knows how to finish games. And even if it doesn't look good, he did that, right? He was able to convert the 3rd and 9s, 3rd and 8s. So it's like, how are you doing that?
Yep. No, and he's a magician and he's a legend. And
he was able to, elude the tackles, the sacks, and throw the ball out of bounds. It's like the little things that Bo Nix is gonna adapt to, and it just takes time. And that's why I said what I said was like, get used to seeing Bo Nix and Patrick Mahomes go at it.
Yes.
Because Bo Nix, this is his first time going against Patrick Mahomes, and he looked great, and he's only going to build off of that.
I mean, that's the hope. And if this is where we're building from in year number 1, again, the loss sucked. So if you are in the trenches and riding high and low, and it's life and death with every Broncos win, I know there's a lot of fans out there like that. And that's how I was in the moment. But less than 24 hours later, I just find myself like, hold on a second. Like, and by the way, I think I picked the Chiefs to win by a point.
Yeah.
All right. So I picked the Chiefs to win. I was hoping that the Broncos would be competitive for all 4 quarters, and that's what I was expecting to see. And I thought it was a bad spot for Kansas City for all the reasons we talked about last week. Coming off of the win that they did on a short week in overtime with Buffalo next week. I thought it was a tough spot for KC, but man, I'm just so encouraged. That's the perfect word.
Encouraged.
I'm so wildly encouraged because if you check that box that he is starting to check right now in real time, like look at Mahomes. Outside of Kelsey, everyone around him on basically offense and defense, and I don't know if was Chris Jones there at the start of their run. I think he was. So they have a couple real pillars in place, and I understand. But from like a 53-man roster, there's like 50 new guys since Mahomes won his first Super Bowl. And if you just check that box, you can, just keep on building upward from this really, really incredibly stable foundation that I'm watching being put into place.
The things that I took out of this game, Zach, for Bo Nix was, okay, I want to see what you do in 2-minute drill before halftime and then to win the game. That's what I've been wanting to see from Bo. It's like, can you move down the field? Are you smart enough to make the decisions to say, hey, I'm going to throw the ball out of bounds. I'm going to take it and run. We're going to keep the ball moving. I'm going to put us in the best situation to be successful, whether it's getting a field goal, or a touchdown. And I think Bo Nix did that. Now, people got upset with me. All right, people got upset with me because that play where Bo Nix in 2 minutes before half, they're driving down there, they snap the ball to clock it, they get the 5-yard penalty. Well, when you're in the meeting room,
was that Sutton when he lined up
in the neutral
zone,
right?
or whatever it was?
So when you're in a meeting room and you're going through these situations, of course, everybody has to know what they're doing, especially Cortland, who's been a veteran. Mm-hmm. You have to know, hey, am I on the ball? Am I off the ball? Who's on? Who's off? But also for a quarterback, the number one thing the coaches will always tell you is, I know you're rushing. I know that you're trying to clock the ball, but you have to make sure everybody's set and everybody's aligned right. That's your job. And I don't want to put it just on Bo because Cortland knows better. He understands. He's been in a lot of situations where it's like, I'm off the ball.
Sure.
But for Bo, it's like, that's a learning situation for you now because that whole situation, losing 5 yards, cost us a field goal.
It was a huge deal.
Cost us a field goal. In the grand scheme of things, when you look back at this game, you can have those 5 yards, let's kick the field goal, they convert the field goal, you win the game now.
Yeah. That's 3 points in a game you lost by 2.
It's little things, and it's not all on Cortland. And that's more of like, hey, Bo, you got to look around you. You got to be aware. Hey, if you're on and you need to be off, push them off. I know time is it's not on your side, but it's the little things that can help you win a game.
Totally. Totally. And that's a little learning lesson that he can stack into his library. Sutton had a drop on that series too. That was just a rough sequence for Cortland Sutton that directly resulted. Dude, when they're running that kickback, and I'm thinking of like Auburn and Alabama and the Iron Bowl and the kick six play, and I'm just like, these guys are going to score here.
Yeah, I was like, please don't do it.
Like, these guys are going to score here.
Please don't do it.
But man, Sutton, yeah, that was a rough sequence for Sutton that had tangible impact. You could measure it there. But yeah, man, with Bo, you said you were talking about Mahomes a couple minutes ago, and like, did he do enough to win when it mattered the most? And Mahomes did. And Mahomes is just such a great player. But like when Bo walks off the field, and you know who I'm thinking about right now.
I know who you're thinking of. It's not on Bo anymore.
I'm not even looking at Phil. Who am I thinking of?
Shador Sanders. Kansas State game. Yes, we all know.
Yes, that's okay. Well played. I love that because you're dead on. If you're Shador or if you're Josh Allen in the playoffs and the season's hanging on the line and you walk off the field with 13 seconds, there's nothing left that you could have done to win.
Left.
And Bo walked off the field with a single second left. So I'll be...
and a smile on his face.
Yeah. I mean, think about that. So, yeah, it's a results-based bottom-line business, maybe more than any other, like, job that we have is like football. Like, you either win or you lose.
That's it.
And so I understand that people are frustrated. But from where I'm choosing to sit for this conversation, it's
Zach,
not down on the field.
You're choosing to be up there.
I'm going back up to my perch and looking at this thing through 10,000 feet. And I believe Bo Nix outplayed Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. And I will let that be the wind in my sail and not the disaster. I mean, what a colossal disaster the finish of that game was. But from a big picture standpoint, even within the season, you're still 5-5. You're hosting Atlanta next week. Like, they can still be fine.
But what do you think Bo's taking from this game? What do you think Bo took from this game? Right?
I'm good enough. I belong here. I belong here.
I like it. I think Bo definitely is feeling that way. Feeling like, hey, I did what I had to do. Now, when I go back and watch film, is there something I could have done a little bit better to be in a better situation and not have to have this last-second field goal? That's how we all think as players. Like, what could we have done at the beginning of the game?
Yeah.
Like, could we have got a touchdown? All right, could we have got that first down to help this team out?
Yeah.
It's certain things like that you kick yourself for, and it's not always going to be on you. But for Bo Nix did not lose us the game. And honestly, Bo Nix won us that game. He did everything he needed to do.
Yes.
Everything he needed to do.
Yes.
1 second left on the clock.
Yes.
Sean Payton did a great job of bleeding that clock down because I am not giving Patrick Mahomes any time. I am not going for a touchdown when all I need is a field goal to beat the Chiefs. I'm not doing it. I'm bleeding the clock down until there's 0.5 seconds. I wish they had 0.5.
Yeah.
And then I'm kicking the field goal to win the game.
They played it masterfully. Yeah. It worked. And if I pause the TV with 1 second left and say, how do you feel about the last 3 hours? Now, I know it was imperfect. Football games are not perfect. There is no perfect football game. It's never been played before. And I paused it with 1 second left. How do you feel about the last 3 hours? Are you fired up right now? And why are you fired up? And tell me, itemize the reasons. And I'd be talking about Sean's coaching. I'd be talking about this defense, and I'd be talking about Bo Nix and the cast of characters that they're trying to pull that upset win off with. I'm not going to let the last second of the game, as ugly and as disastrous as it was, alter my big picture mindset on this football team. And I'm not choosing to like zig when everyone's zagging here on a bad day when it's like you lost, in such dramatic fashion. It's legitimately how I freaking feel, man. And I think this entire operation is moving in the right direction. And
well, Zach, the last Bo Nix had the ball for 13 plays at the end there in the fourth quarter to win the game. 13 plays. Almost 6 minutes, the Denver Broncos held on to the football.
Yep.
What more can that young man do? He hit the right receivers. All right, Audric Estime did just enough to move the chains for a couple first downs.
Yep.
And so you have to be encouraged that you just played the Kansas City Chiefs that are still undefeated.
Yep.
all right, going for a three-peat, and you were in that game. That should tell everybody in that locker room, we're good enough. All right, we have a chance. We're 5-5.
Yeah.
The season's not over yet.
No, not by any stretch.
We go out there and you beat Atlanta, you're 6-5. You're above 500. Everything is still out in front of you like the Colorado Buffaloes. That's the fun part about this, is they have a chance to continue to win games. They have a chance to still get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
But they got to start winning games. They got to find ways to finish. And it's hard sometimes, Zach, when you got a bunch of rookies around because they've never done it before. They don't know how it feels to finish a game, but they have to go through some of this hardship, some of these situations because it builds you up.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we've been here before.
Yeah.
I don't like that feeling.
Yep.
Let's finish it off. Let's find a way. Break a couple more tackles. All right, Bo Nix, make a couple more plays. That's what it's going to help out with. It's going to force everybody to play better.
Yeah, and Phil, like oftentimes with the NBA, most often the NBA, I'll refer to these battle scars. And very rarely do we see in the NBA, if ever. I mean, really, it's like once in a generation, a team like, like the Detroit Pistons 20 years ago or the Toronto Raptors in 2019, like these teams that, assemble talent and can win it like in their first chance or their first opportunity. But football doesn't work like that. So when this is a scar. I mean, this is a scar.
Big scar.
It's a big scar. All right, make no doubt about it. But I'm hoping the dividends of accumulating a scar like this one, maybe it pays off in 2 months. 2 months from now, this season, with this same group of players, not next year, and it could. Maybe it's next year or the year after where this core stays together, but this could, and I'm really looking for silver linings or choosing to highlight silver linings. There's a chance that you could apply lessons like this one to later in the year. That's the hope anyway. That's the hope.
Well, in order for that to be the hope, the players in that locker room have to believe like what they did is not a fluke. That what they've done is they built some momentum and that everything is out in front of them. And you hope that for Sean, this is where Sean as a coach, like I hope I put the right veterans in this locker room. That's not going around taking these young players' heads and saying it's over. That's moping around because they're not getting playing time. I hope I have put the right veterans in this locker room that's like, hey, we still have a lot of football left. Because what ends up happening is you hit the rookie wall. That's something you have to watch for Bo. That's something you're going to have to watch for someone like Estimate. The only thing with Estimate and them is they're not getting a lot of carries.
Right.
But it's like they've been playing college football. And then right after college football, they go into the East-West Shrine Bowls, the Senior Bowls. Then you got the draft, you got the combine, and then you're playing in these preseason games. Like, it's a lot.
Sure.
And then you're playing in 17 football games. So you hope someone like Bo Nix doesn't hit the rookie wall, all right, and understands that, hey, we need you. We need you to be fresh. We need you to have the same mindset you did week 1 when it's week 12, week 13, week 14.
On the RamosLaw.com text line, 303-713-1043. A lot of reaction here. C1, I don't know how you ever recover from this loss. It has to cast doubt on the rest of the season. So I appreciate what you're saying and the question that you're kind of asking when you say, I don't know how they ever recover from this loss. I don't know, man. I think it just depends. What's the leadership like, in that locker room? What's Sean's approach here? And I think that's something that we say today on a Monday, and I'm sure there's got to be some validity to it. But I just think when you're playing in the middle of the second quarter against Atlanta this weekend, you're going to be like, man, I don't know if we're going to be able to get this done because
you're not thinking about it.
You're just process oriented. You just keep going. Like
you have one day, you have 24 hours. All right, 24 hours or maybe even 48 depends. Like you got the plane ride home, and then you got Monday off. All right, to feel sorry for yourselves. But then you got to go back to work. You have a chance to still go to the playoffs. Like, why would you sit here and look back at this game that's already been played?
You can't undo it. It sucked. It sucked.
It already happened. It didn't work out for you. You learn from it, and you move on. You pick each other up, and you say, hey, we have a lot of football left. We're in the thick of things. It's not like we're 0-10. All right, we're 5-5. All right, that's a lot better than we were last year during this time. And it's like we feel good. We have a chance because our rookie quarterback is doing some great things. He's building confidence.
Yeah.
Sean is building confidence in him. All right, Sean's building confidence in the team and even in himself. Sean's starting to get his kind of swagger back, saying, hey, I remember how to play this game or how to coach this game, I should say. That's a great sign.
It is. It is. So it's just depending on how you as a fan look at it. And I'm never going to tell another fan how to be a fan. All right, that's each your own outlook, right? Because you can look at this. Here's what I'll say. Last week, we're having the conversation about Gabe Landeskog and the report that he wasn't on the ice, and we'll actually circle back to that here in a few minutes because we have a new update today. But it's like, that was something where it's like, there's no two ways to look at this. There's just one way. It sucks. There is another additional way to look at what happened in Kansas City. That's what I'm saying. And I think that freaking Bo Nix going into Arrowhead and outplaying Pat Mahomes,
giving us a chance to win.
Come on. I mean, this was a 9-point spread on Monday. And you're telling me Bo Nix had a better completion percentage, had a better yards per attempt, had more touchdowns, took less sacks, had a better quarterback rating, and a better QBR. And so, I don't know, man. We've been looking for a quarterback around here for a long, long time.
Yes, we have. A long time. Yes, we have.
So that's the way that I'm naturally reacting to this. And, the defense, once again, was flying around too. And some of these guys on defense, like Nick Bonito, Nick Bonito could have had 4 sacks yesterday.
I know.
He really could have.
But this goes to show you how strong Patrick Mahomes is. Like, he's big, man. He's big. He has a lower body.
Yep.
And you don't really think about it until you get close to him. And you're like, dude, this dude is big. Another one other than Josh Allen's big.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson's another one. Where it's like, dude, these guys are bigger than you think, and they're strong. And so someone like Nick Bonito could have had 4 sacks, but you got to be able to wrap somebody up. You can't just think, I'm going to touch Patrick Mahomes and he's just going to fall to the ground. That's not
He was
what
on his back.
Yeah.
And Mahomes got out of that play and converted anyway.
Strong, man.
Yeah, no question. He is. And we saw him, I forget the opponent that they were playing, we saw him absolutely truck someone at the goal line this past month, didn't we?
Yeah,
Remember
did. He did have a truck stick.
Forget who that was or forget who they were playing, but it was within the past month where Mahomes just made someone look like a fool on the defensive side of the ball. Yeah, man, what did you I want to talk to you about Audric Estime and just the change, the shift. And we will have some time for that, but we don't have quite enough time to talk about it right now. We still have so much to get to